Atlas was one of the most famous Titans, the son of Aleptis in the Oceanid Asia, or possibly Clymene. Oh, I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. He was the leader of the Titan rebellion against Zeus, and he got a fitting punishment after the end of the Titanomachy. He was condemned to eternally hold up the sky. Only once, and for a brief period, was he bereaved of this duty by Heracles. Perseus, using probably Medusa's head, turned him into the stony Atlas Mountains. Atlas's name is of unsure, possibly pre-Greek origin, but the ancient Greeks and Romans seem to have thought it was derived from the similar-sounding Greek root, with the meaning of very enduring. This fully coincides with Atlas's portrayal as an enormous bearded man, always slightly bent and in pain under the weight of the heavens, usually represented as a globe sketched with the most famous constellations. According to Hesiod, Atlas was a son of the Titan Iapetus and the Oceanid Clymene. However, some disagreeing with him say that his mother was actually another sea nymph named Asia. Either way, he had three brothers, Prometheus, Epimetheus, and Menoetis, and possibly as many wives. By Pleione, he had 8 daughters, the goddess nymph Calypso, the 7 Pleiades, Alcyone, Asterope, Electra, Calieno, Tyget, Merope, and Hermes' mother Maia. Another Oceanid, Aethera, bore him few more daughters, the Hyades and his only son Hyas. Finally, according to some, the Hesperides were also Atlas's daughters, and of his marriage to Hesperus. Epictetus' sons took the opposing sides during the Titanomachy, where Prometheus and Epimetheus decided to help Zeus. Atlas and his brother Menoetis sided with the Titans. In time, Atlas even managed to become leader of the rebellion. But that did not end up too well for him in the long run, since it got him the most severe punishment after the defeat of the Titans. Namely, Atlas was condemned to hold up the heavens for all eternity, standing at the furthest west edges of the earth, near the gardens of his daughters, the Hesperides. Some say that the sky was directly placed on his shoulders. Others say, however, are more merciful, claiming that Atlas actually holds the 2 pillars that keep the sky and earth apart. Since obviously Atlas wasn't allowed to move one bit, and not many people know where his dwelling place was, the only myths in which he was included in were of 2 of the greatest heroes, reaching him at the end of the earth. The first of them was Heracles, who, after having 2 of his original labors invalidated, was tasked with breeding Eurystheus few of the Hesperian golden apples. Heracles smartly offered Atlas to switch roles with him so that the Titan could fetch the apples from his daughters himself, causing no fuss and drawing unnecessary attention from Ladon, the dragon guardian of the apples. Atlas did just that, but had a plan of his own, to deliver the apples himself to Eurystheus, and then, of course, forget all about Heracles and his old job. Heracles, however, outsmarted the gullible Titan, agreeing to the plan, but asking for him to hold the sky first so that he could adjust himself into a more comfortable position. Instead, Heracles just seized the golden apples and never looked back. The second and last hero to visit Atlas was Perseus. Passing by the Titan, Perseus asked him for hospitality, but Atlas, fearing some humiliating trick again, turned him down. So Perseus showed him the head of Medusa, and Atlas was turned the stone, i.e., the mountain range in North Africa that still bears his name. A few verses of Hesiod's Theology recount the stories of Atlas and his brothers. Heracles' encounter with Atlas was retold in the 5th chapter of the 2nd book of Apollodorus' Library, while his transformation into the mountain range was narrated by Ovid in the 4th book of his Metamorphoses.